How do you go from the NBA to serving life in prison? Well, you could ask Javaris Crittenton, who was sentenced to 25 years for murder after fatally shooting a woman during a gang altercation in Atlanta. From NBA rising star to member of a notorious gang, it seems like one bad decision after another doomed Javaris to a life behind bars. See, Javaris was so talented that only after 1 year of playing for Georgia Tech, he got picked in the first round of the 2007 NBA draft by the Lakers. With a $2.6 million contract in LA, he was officially a star after only a single year playing the game. It seemed as though things could only get better for the rookie, but late one night, Javaris was led down a completely different path. Because during the offseason of his first year, one night Javaris met a notorious gangster and rapper named Dolla. Mesmerized by his style, clout, and money, Javaris ended up hanging out with his gang, the Mansfield Crips, all night long until officially joining them a couple months later. And after joining the gang, Javaris just could not keep it together on the court. Completely falling apart, he ended up being traded to team after team in only his first 2 years. But the worst was not over though, as it wasn't until he was landed with the Washington Wizards that he made a decision that would completely ruin his NBA career forever. After losing some money to his teammate Gilbert Arenas, Javaris decided he wasn't going to let it slide. Like a real gangster, Javaris walked into the locker room with multiple guns and asked Arenas which one he wanted to be shot with. Though both players ended up unhurt, Javaris was still sentenced to 1 year probation for the incident, and his contract with the Wizards was terminated. After only 2 years in the NBA, 22-year-old Javaris was returning to Atlanta with nothing left. And this is when he encountered a massive problem, because he thought that going back home would provide him a ton of support, but on his return, everyone hated him and judged him for his dumb choices. With nowhere to go and nothing really left for him, Javaris fell deeper and deeper with the Mansfield Crips. But then in the next couple years, by the time he was just 23 years old, most of Javaris's crew were either in prison or dead. With nothing left to lose, Javaris was ready to blow at any point. No family, no friends, and nowhere to go. Finally, the tipping point was when he was robbed of everything that he had. After leaving a local barbershop one night, Javaris was robbed of literally everything that he had on him, and at the time he was wearing a $25,000 diamond chain and $30,000 watch. He ended up actually recognizing the guy who robbed him as 17-year-old Lil Tick, a member of a rival gang. See, Javaris had already pulled a gun on a teammate for literally just gambling, so there was absolutely no limit to what he would do to a rival who robbed him. Javaris ended up going on a hunt for Lil Tick and decided to ride around his last known location with his cousin Scooter. He spotted Lil Tick and of course shot at him, but then missed and hit an innocent woman in the leg instead. Javaris fled the scene and the woman died a couple hours later at the hospital. That woman was only 23 years old and the mother of 4 children, and bystanders recognized Javaris and police were able to gather a huge amount of evidence against him. They found the truck with his fingerprints and DNA, had multiple witness statements, and his picture was picked out of every lineup that they did. He was arrested in LA by the FBI, and there was so much evidence against him that he was looking at life in prison. To avoid this though, he ended up pleading guilty to aggravated assault with a firearm and voluntary manslaughter, but he didn't get off easy though, as he was still sentenced to over 20 years. As of now, Javaris's expected release date is the year 2036.